Hey, welcome back to 15th Street Automotive. Today's project is a 2014 GMC Acadia. Customer states there's no power steering. I just drove it in and it's all Armstrong steering. So there is no whine from the pump, so it's likely not low. So let's pop the hood and take a look at this one. So the power steering reservoir is underneath this cover here, so we got to take that off, pull that cap off, and this just pops up. Power steering reservoir is right here. The pump is actually back in the back, but this is the reservoir here. And the level's full, so there is fluid in it. So either the pump is not pumping, or the rack is bypassing all the pressure. So the next thing to do is to, I've already checked the belt. Belt's good, but the pump is turning. So the next thing to do is to put it up and check, see if there's pressure at the rack. Okay, so the fittings right on the power steering rack is where we're going to check our pressure. The pump is real difficult to get to, so those are the most accessible points. So I'm going to pull those lines off, and then I don't have a power steering pressure kit, but I do have a transmission pressure kit that'll work. We'll do little modifications and get it to work. So next thing to do is pull that line off and then put our kit together. Okay, this is the kit I'm going to use. This is my transmission oil pressure gauge and then a high pressure line. And instead of screwing it into anything, I put this piece of 1/2 inch hose on here. I'll clamp it there, and I'll clamp this over the power steering pressure fitting. And then that'll give me enough, hopefully it'll retain it long enough for me to get a decent reading on pressure. That pump should put out about close to 1,000 psi. This pump or this gauge only reads 400, but it'll give me a reading. If it goes to 400, then I know that pump's putting out enough pressure to make the power steering work. But deadheaded, that pump will put out 1,000 psi. So I won't have much time to check its operation before it pops everything off. So. Let's hook this all up and then we'll take a reading on the pressure. Okay, this is the setup we're going to use. This is the line that went into the power steering rack here, and this is my hose kit here that I put together. There's that chunk of 1/2 inch hose clamped on it, and then the gauge is on the end here, and then the gauge is on the end. We'll feed that gauge up to the top, and then we'll start it up and see if we get any pressure. Alright, so I had this all hooked up, went to go start it, check the pressure, and it gauge immediately went to 400, and it popped a hole in my test hose here. So the pump is definitely producing enough pressure. It happened so fast I didn't even get the camera start turning on yet. So basically pump's putting out enough pressure to run that rack. That tells me that the rack is dead. It's getting good enough pressure, but it's not power assisting, then the rack is internally bypassing. So this one's got to get a new rack.